At this point, the FDA actually declined that request also, as they usually do, and I'm not gonna go into any kind of politics about why they did it. What is up, guys, and welcome back. So today we're gonna talk about some new events that is happening in the hair loss community, or at least in the medical community. And that is about the 5-alpha reductase inhibitors, Propecia, also known as finasteride. So for those of you who do not know, the company behind Propecia, known as Merck, back in 2009, already knew about 200 incidents of suicidal thoughts, suicide or depression with people already taking that drug. Because of this, they made an internal analysis and risk management, or risk assessment, whatever you call it. So according to an internal risk management assessment from that year, documents made public following a Reuters request, in this report they concluded that all these reports or known situations where people had been taking that drug, and also there was some incidents with suicide and suicidal thoughts and so on, they actually concluded that these reports were non-significant to the risk management of their product. So to explain this in a little basic way, it means that they said that these reports didn't have any kind of informative value to if we were to consider if their product were of any kind of danger. So if we fast forward a little further, back in 2011, only 2 years after the first risk management assessment, the FDA analysis disagreed about adding a warning related to suicide, but the regulatory ultimately agreed with Merck that the number of suicides was lower than one would expect in such a group of patients. Since that report came out, there has been over 700 reports of suicide, suicidal thoughts or depression with people already taking that drug. So we are gonna fast forward a little bit further, and this is back in 2021. This is only 1 year ago. So the Postfinasteride syndrome group actually at this point filed a complaint against the FDA back in September 2021. 4 years after they actually submitted a citizen's petition to the agency urging it to withdraw the approval of Propecia or finasteride, or else actually to revise the information about the drug's safety. This now leads us back up until 2022, and this is from June, and this is regarding to that request they made back then. At this point, the FDA actually declined that request also, as they usually do, and I'm not gonna go into any kind of politics about why they did it or if there's any money involved or anything like that. The only thing I want to address is that now in 2022, the FDA actually has required that any patient who is about to take or is taking finasteride or Propecia actually get informed about the suicidal risk or the depression risk or whatever it might contain. I haven't taken a look at what the requirements are for that information, but this is something very new to the medical industry, that they actually require a doctor to explain that this is actually happening out in the world, but we don't know anything about this so-called Postfinasteride syndrome. But even though that the FDA actually disregards this Postfinasteride syndrome group, there must be some kind of grounds to what they are saying, since that they always tend to push the FDA to add some kind of warning or a label, and now that they actually are going to inform the patient and have a talk with them before they are allowed to take this drug. So for those of you who do not know, the Postfinasteride syndrome group is a group of people and now lawyers who is actually fighting to get Propecia or finasteride taken off the shelves for medical hair loss treatment. I don't know which kind of grounds there is to this claim that they have, but if you have seen my videos on Do We Need DHT, I actually take a deep look into how DHT plays a role in our body, and I think there is some sort of value in what they are saying. And we can assume that since the FDA is moving further and further onto the board with making warnings, labels, and now require the doctor to talk with their patients about it, that they are beginning to realize that we don't know every kind of side effects there is out there, and there's probably more to finasteride or Propecia than we know already. So guys, there you have it. This is all I have for you today. It is only news about the medical world. I had this forwarded to me from a doctor I know. He knows what I do, he knows my interest, and he just wanted to inform me that this is actually going on in the medical world at this point. There's no studies on this, there's nothing that I can share other than the news. And I thought if any one of you is taking Propecia or is taking finasteride or something like that, dutasteride might as well go into that group also, that it could be of interest to you guys before you make that decision, or if you rethink your decision, anything like that. Because at the end of the day, if there weren't any kind of risk and if they didn't acknowledge that they don't know everything about the side effects, they wouldn't agree to add another label of warning to their product. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, cheers.